That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
What's going on, fans of the One Cast? Welcome back to Fishing Friday. I know it's been a couple weeks, probably been about a month since we actually were able to get on here and do one. Just with travel and tournaments and a bunch of other stuff. Trey just totally locked the mics out because he had to move his for no reason.
37 days.
Spent 37 days.
I don't know, dude. It don't matter.
But we're back live in studio, all three of us. It's been a little while since we've had all three of us for one of these too. I think last time Ben might have been
was I on
Missouri, maybe?
No, dude, he was back. No,
I don't think we've done one since he was in Missouri.
I know Ben selfishly went to Missouri. Pete selfishly went to the beach. I stayed here and had to suck it up. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it has been a while since we've been on with you guys. What's up, Dave? I hope you guys tune into this little Fishing Friday because it should be a good one. Us are running our mouths about some of the recent tournament stuff and maybe some other cool things.
Trey just babbling about nothing.
Come on, man. That's what Fishing Friday is about. It's about babbling about nothing.
Just babble about nothing. Make sure you post your comments if you have any questions, all of that good stuff. We're here to try to answer them.
I'm sharing it out too.
On. We got about 12, 10, 12, 8, 15, 177 people in here. I'm not sure. What's up, Pete, man? What's up, Michael? Hope you're doing well.
Oh,
Mike John.
Look, Mike, you
Pete
still
Ben and not a hammer. That would be Trey. Trey, the non-hammer.
That's savage. You know what's funny is actually I went down. We all heard it before, so I don't want to repeat myself. But I did have to show Mike how to catch a bass in his home state.
The problem is
you're
when
welcome.
Mike tells that story is he caught two bigger than your one. So I'm just saying he filled the bag out. He said you contributed one fish. And if it weren't for him, you guys would have struggled. So I don't know the truth. I get two stories.
The truth is what I say. Okay, it's just me, myself, and my truth. No, I'm just kidding. What's up, Mike? Man, we hope you're doing well down there. Mike actually might go fish a tournament on Lake Kiwi. There's a BFL coming up. I think it's August 11th and 12th. And he was like, "Yo, dude, you should go fish that." And I'm like, yo, dude, I'm not a hammer, so I don't know how to catch a bass.
And then I'm going to Seminole to fish with Mike because he invited me. So,
Mike, what? Are you cheating on me?
He is.
Oh, man, it's jacked up, dude.
But, yeah, so we've been if you've been listening to the episodes, we've beat to death the MLF controversy, so we're not going to talk about that. Joey Cifuentes, congratulations again, winning last week in the elites, his second of the year, second blue trophy, angler of the year leader, all that good stuff.
Rookie of the year leader.
Did I say angler of the year? Yeah, rookie of the year leader.
My truth.
And we're gonna have him on after his season's over. So we're not gonna have him on during the season. We want to make sure we bring him on because he might go out and win another one. I mean, he's got two events left. He's got the smallmouth. Yep. He's really good with his electronics and targeting those bigger fish. Randy Blockett, he loves to use forward facing sonar, and he's good with it. He can go out and catch him without it. He's been doing it for a long time. He's been a stick for a long time in a lot of different places.
You say that maybe my algorithm's changed, but I haven't seen a lot from Randy recently.
Who's that?
I blocked him on everything because I was sick of seeing his stuff.
Randy Blockett.
Who's that?
I just saw something yesterday. He was running his trap. So
maybe my algorithm changed.
Oh, man. You know, there's a lot of people running their traps just like us.
Yep. But
we run our
what's going on, Tim? Hope you're doing well. For anybody that is here, we got a good one coming up this week. We got Maddie Wong going to join us, Elite Series Pro, qualified for the Elites by winning Bass Nation, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. So he qualified for the Classic that way, qualified for the Elites. Had some interesting takes on forward-facing sonar on Bass Live that we'll delve into with him.
Yep.
And I have a feeling that's going to be a long one and a good one. So looking forward to that. Rumor mill time.
Maddie Wong coming on our show?
No, I heard another rumor.
What?
Maybe let's wait a little bit.
Well, let's wait at like 59 minutes.
Yeah, we'll leave everybody with that.
59 minutes and 45 seconds.
Ponder that. NPFL news, though, if you all are interested in fishing,
yeah,
they did open up their application process today.
Yep.
They've got a POW. We talk to them guys pretty regularly because they help hook us up with their anglers and stuff. And we're going down to see them at the last event on Lake Lanier in October. So for anybody that's local down there, we'll be down there. We'll post a schedule kind of when we're going to be down there, what we got going on. So you can come out and say, hey, if you want to.
Ben, didn't you submitted your application for the MPFL today, didn't you?
No, but I should.
But yeah, so if you're interested, make sure you get that application in. We've talked about how great of an organization they are, doing things a little bit different, lots of fun. And
I should put one in just to make Brad go through it.
we did reach out, speaking of Brad, to him when we saw that drop just to check. They're not sure when or if they're going to close that application. So don't wait. But they also want to have some extras on their list just in case the guys back out or whatever. So get your application in. Tim, great question. If I win Mega Millions 1.35 billion, the first fishing purchase I'm buying is that brand new Icon 21 XL that I just saw, fully rigged out, $115,000.
Nah, dude. I'm building my own bass boat.
No, I would definitely get a new one, but I would be test riding every single one.
I honestly
I lean towards the Vexus like first
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
but
I think with over $1 billion, obviously you're not going to get $1 billion.
I think they figured like 585 million is what you would end up taking home by
that
you pay
much with
and everything.
taxes. Really?
so
It's got to be 700 million or something.
37% is going to come off so you don't get the full amount. So like the present value is probably 700 million.
Yeah, 700 million, right?
So you basically anywhere between if you live in a state that doesn't have taxes, anywhere between 37 to like 50%.
Wow,
Depending on state taxes.
that's unbelievable.
So you're bringing home
It likes 350 million if you take the lapse lump sum.
Well, I'm still gonna build a boat. Tim, 1.35 billion, man. Well, every single one of my friends automatically gonna give him $1 million.
I was gonna try to calculate it, but my calculator doesn't get
Automatically. That's a fishing investment right there. Like, you got to give your buddies money so that they can pay their entry fees in the MPFL, and then you can fish against them, and then you can beat them and take their money back, your money back.
Let's just say 40%.
There's some other rumors out there too.
500, so 810 million would be your take home roughly.
I can't say too much, but they're very likely a couple fishing companies going to go bankrupt pretty soon.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I don't know. Those rumors are, I think, more than rumors at this point.
Well, I mean,
We've already seen some that are in financial trouble, and
That's what I'm alluding to.
like Pure Fishing was one, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
Pure Fishing got degraded. I don't care. I'll talk about it. If y'all want to reach out to us,
Well, I mean, there's
we
articles
can
on
we
it,
can
right?
work some advertising stuff out with y'all and try to help you rebound.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously articles about them having issues with taking on the debt when they finance those acquisitions. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's you can see the writing on the wall.
I also heard a rumor involving us.
Uh,
We may have a new partner coming on, and that's all I can say. So keep your eyes open
hopefully
for that.
two.
Hopefully two. One
Hopefully two.
is close. Really looking forward to bringing you all an opportunity at some awesome stuff.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say about that for right now. We'll keep teasing. Hopefully it comes to be. We had talks with them and everything. It looks good. So looking forward to providing some more opportunities for all of our fans.
Let me give it a shout out real quick.
One Cast Fishing. Use the code #1Cast. Save 10% off your order.
Well, yeah, you can do that. The stingers and the warthogs.
Speaking of which, they're also more environmentally friendly because you lose less of them.
That's right. That's right. We're all
up.
about conservation and keeping the bottom of our lakes clean. So head on over to onecastfishing.com. Check out the new soft plastics that just came up. They pair very well with the size and style of hooks that are designed on each one of the baits, to include the snagless flipping jig, the punch jig, the bladed jig, the swim jig, and the football head jig. So the names are obviously military related, so you're welcome. Also, the person I wanted to give a shout out to was Harvey Horn, and we didn't really do a recap of the Bassmaster Elite qualifiers, but Harvey, I think he came in 52nd up north. I did a really good job, and for those of you who don't follow the Bassmaster Opens or the Elite qualifiers, kind of one and the same, but the EQs, the guys that fish all 9 of the events, that is, in our opinion, or at least my opinion, probably the hardest format to fish, because not only are you dealing with former elite anglers like Harvey Horn himself, Destin DeMarion, and so on and so forth. But you're also dealing with guys that are just jumping in a tournament or 3, and they're fishing to go to the Bassmaster Classic, and that leads to local hammers fishing those deals. So huge shout out to Harvey for getting a 52nd place finish. If I'm not mistaken, I don't want to misspeak here, but he did a really good job.
You looking it up?
What's that?
Are you looking it up?
No,
So we got to give him a shout out, man. Like, we have a really good relationship with the Bass Hub. If you guys don't know them, go check them out. They go live all the time. Stephanie Hemphill Pellerin and Harvey Horn.
Harvey had some good stuff this last one.
Yeah, he did.
Thermocline and all.
Yeah, if you didn't check that out, definitely get a look on YouTube and watch the VOD. He had some really good stuff with. For those who don't know, VOD, video on demand. I probably should have said that because I don't even really know what it means.
Oh man, I just learned a new
I just
acronym.
learned the other day.
VOD.
But Will said Harvey is the man. Yes, Harvey is the man. Good friend of ours, and looking forward to seeing how he finishes out the year and carrying some momentum. He's had a couple good finishes here over the last few tournaments, so fun to watch. Yeah, man, it's tournament season's kind of winding down, so we're starting to line some stuff up for the off season.
Well, it's not really winding down, right?
Well, at the pro level.
So at the high level, I did want to say something, right? And this might ruffle some feathers, but I'm really tired.
No, here we go.
Really tired of seeing it. But yes, at the national level, like, things are winding down. You got the last couple tournaments going on with the MPFL over the span until October. If you guys didn't get to check it out, go to our latest episode on the OneCast, whether or not it's on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you want to go. We had a show with the recent winner, Trent Palmer from Saginaw Bay, won $100,000, a giant shield. It was a great episode. That was our most recent episode that dropped.
Yeah,
right?
just dropped
last
yesterday.
And then the one before that, if you didn't check that one out, that was with ourselves and Pete's lovely wife, Chelsea, and did a full breakdown of iCast and some of the really cool things that Chelsea saw. So the last 2 episodes, we had awesome conversations with great people. So MPFL is getting ready to wind down. BASS is north. They're fishing their last 2 tournaments up north. I don't know about MLF. Not a huge follower of it.
This is their last event going on right now.
Kevin Van Dam, this is his last season.
This is his last event.
This is his last event. Yeah.
Going on right now.
Going on. Will Kevin Van Dam come back at some point? I don't know. Everybody has their suspicions, but he does have a lot of legend status in Bassmaster.
He's coming back.
But what I do want to say is, I see a lot of this stuff, man. A lot of these really ugly negative posts on these fishing forums on Facebook and stuff like that. People, we talked about this before, but people genuinely asking questions, like how to, enter into a Wildcat tournament or how to do this or whatever. And people just, I don't know what it is. I don't understand the why behind the why, but people are impulsively just extremely ugly to one another, right? There's a lot of people on there just wanting to know information, right? And what I wanted to say is, there's a Wildcat tournament that runs around here, and I'm not going to name the name because it really will probably make a ramp fight. But if you are hosting a Tuesday night or Wednesday night or Thursday night or whatever the case may be, and people are on your open social media website and they want to know a piece of information, don't act like it's an inconvenience to you to answer the question that somebody has. Granted, yes, maybe they could click on the website or could click on something, but how many people are not as savvy on social media? How many are not savvy? Well, there's a lot that aren't savvy. There's a lot of older people that fish. There's a lot of people that still don't have social media, believe it or not. So when somebody asks a question, don't be a jerk, right? And if you don't feel like you have the time to answer the question, then step away from hosting that kind of stuff. It's super frustrating because you give everything a bad rap when you act like that and you behave like that. It's not just you, right? There's young kids out there and stuff that see this stuff, and a lot of young kids emulate behavior. Well, don't do that. If you think you're too busy to answer a question, then don't be the host. That's all I'll say. It just pisses me off, dude, when I see that kind of behavior on social media, when people truly just are asking questions. They're not saying, hey, bro, can I get your spot? No. They're saying, hey, hey, how do I do this? How do I show up for this? Do I have to enter it online? Do I have to, dude, I ain't got time to answer all these questions. If you can't read
It doesn't
on-
matter if it's the
like, come
tournament
on,
director
man.
or somebody that fishes it. Like if somebody asks a question and you can help, you should. Like Trey said, you see it all the time. People be like, well, if you have to ask, you probably don't belong, blah, blah, blah. Everybody belongs. If you want to fish a tournament and you're not sure, reach out to Trey, reach out to myself, reach out to Ben. We'll figure it out for you, or we'll figure out the right people to ask.
Yeah.
If you haven't yet, a lot of you asked for a video about decision making and fishing a tournament and stuff. Trey and I did one. It's out on my YouTube channel, which is Pete Shandrick Fishing. If you search it on YouTube, go check that out. Give us some feedback. I already have a few things that I want to do better for next time. But it's my first time ever editing anything really like that long. Usually I just throw music on and put a video up. So let us know what you think of that if you watch it. Like, comment, subscribe. That's probably where we'll post a lot of those type of informational videos, either there or on the one cast fishing YouTube, because it's just tough it's kind of a pain to set up a whole nother YouTube. So we might just roll with that. But if you have ideas for videos, things you do want to know, ask us. We've always said, we want to cultivate a culture. We want to build a culture of anglers helping anglers. We want to provide any information we can. Obviously, we're a bunch of nobodies. None of us are pros or probably ever will be. Maybe one day, who knows? But
I feel like I'm a pro.
More than happy to share the lessons that we've learned in tournament fishing and just angling in general. Like if you have questions about, where to look, where to do, stop messaging me and asking me where the fish are when you see me posting pictures and I catch them, because I love y'all, but I'm not going to give you exactly where the juice is. But I don't have a problem telling you what I'm looking for, all that kind of stuff. But there's plenty of fish, there's plenty of water. So reach out to us. If there's videos you want to see, let us know. I'm going to get out tomorrow and pre-fish for a tournament next weekend. I don't know if Trey's fishing tomorrow. Man, you going to fish? I know you're going to work on some boat issues, huh?
Yeah, I'm probably going to pull my boat out and start that process at some point.
So let's talk about that. Like one of the things we didn't really talk about before we started our live was like, what kind of topics are we going to talk about? We never do with live, but here is something that I think needs to be talked about is, and it has been talked about before on several forums, but we talk about baits and rods and reels and line and all that stuff. But if you can't get to or see your fish or navigate because of power, well, then you got bigger issues, right? You're not even going to be able to really fish. So Ben, what's going on with your boat that maybe the audience wants to hear about?
I mean, I've got multiple pretty much electronic issues. I still got to completely solve the alternator issue. So that's one. Back in Missouri, my other one went out. And then I had my old boat engine there that threw a rod a few years ago. So I swapped off the alternators, and it seemed to be working fine for a little bit. But now it's doing the same thing. It's not even charging at idle. It's showing current running out of the battery. So that's an issue. And then I'm having voltage drop to my live scope. Even though I got like 8 gauge marine wire run, and then I got 2 Helix 10s at the console, and the sonar actually runs it all through the one on the left, right? That's where I run my side imaging, but on the right, it ports over through the Humminbird switch, right? And that's typically where I run my mapping and then my down imaging in 2D. But on that screen, the down imaging in 2D, it shows like 800 feet, and it didn't show anything. But yet when I pull it up on the side imaging one, it works. So that may not be a power issue. Maybe some with the cables too. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull the boat out. I'm going to get another wiring harness probably from Sonar Pros and strip all the wiring out of my boat and rerun it and then go from there.
Okay. Mike, that's good. I didn't even think to recommend that, but yeah, check your ground on the actual block itself.
So
that's a good check. Yeah.
This is this is great. Thanks, Mike. At least Mike knows about electronics a little bit, and I showed him how to catch a bass. So,
bro,
that was awesome.
Before we go too far, so Mike had a boat get damaged, get struck by lightning, right?
Dude,
listen,
yes.
I just saw in I have a Vexus. That's the boat that I run.
I'm just kidding, Mike.
In our Vexus boat owners group, a dude struck his power pole got struck while he was driving down the road, fried his boat, and then went through the trailer plug and fried all the electronics in his truck. They totaled his truck and his boat from a lightning strike while he was driving down the highway. Lost both of them.
So
Oh my!
Can you imagine, dude?
And lightning's not supposed to. Well,
It hit his power pole.
yeah, but it's still technically connected to the rubber.
I do.
I mean, it's not a solid. Well, no, maybe not. Because if you got the carpet there,
Yeah,
between the trailer.
I mean, dude.
fried everything.
So,
Man.
So Ben's talking about like dealing with some electronical issues. Mike definitely checking the ground
I'm gonna do that.
on the block. So
hey, I ducked in the wheel while driving with Trey.
So yeah, dude. So this year for me and probably Mike and probably Pete and obviously Ben's having electrical issues. This year has been the scariest year for lightning for me. So talking about that stuff, Mike and I were on Toho in the middle of the absolute worst, like 5 minute.
And that was during the tournament.
It was during the tournament, right? So Mike and I went up and fished in an area, and we had a limit of fish, and we come back onto the main lake, and you could just see it. I mean, we posted pictures. Go to our Instagram page, or and I'll post a picture on there. Go to the OneCast Instagram page or whatever, and check that out. But we had a shelf cloud that just pushed through, and it just knocked us dead with torrential downpours. But that wasn't the scary part. There was lightning literally as soon as it struck, the thunder cracked. So you knew it was really low. And Mike and I kind of looked at each other like, well, there ain't nothing we can do about this. So we just hunkered down, and that was really scary. But
because down there you can't get off on the bank.
there ain't. I mean, yeah, and I mean, unless you want to get eaten by an alligator, I guess. But
it's all marsh.
It is all marsh. So before that, though, Mike actually had his power pole on his Ranger. One of them, or maybe both of them, they were struck by lightning. So Mike's power poles weren't working. Well, so that's that story. Then Pete and I go to the river, and we're driving back, and we drove through a really bad storm. And I said something to Pete as we were driving. I was like, man, I hope we don't get struck by lightning. And as soon as lightning came out of my mouth, a bolt of lightning, no kidding, 75 to 100 feet to our right, struck, and thunder cracked at the same time. And Pete and I did the same thing that Mike and I did on the water. We just looked at each other like, oh my gosh.
He had literally no sooner got lightning out of his mouth, and that joker cracked like 40 foot into the woods from us. And I have never puckered up that tight in my life.
Yeah,
I thought for sure. And then I was like, Trey, you MFer. Don't you talk about us getting hit by lightning.
Did you just call me a Milliken Fisher?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mike,
Milliken fan.
Mike said, Ben, voltage
I'll
drop
hit
issue before you buy a harness.
I'll hit you up when I get the boat out and I get around to
So kind of
working on it.
Kind of rewinding back while we were talking about boat power issues, is there are always issues. There's a lot of issues. And if you go check that episode out with Trent, he talks a lot about that, right? He's the owner of what is it, Sonar Pros?
You're absolutely right, Mike.
And you know, like these boats right now, when you buy them from the dealer, from the factory, whatever the case may be, they don't come with beefed up harnesses.
Yep.
Because they never really needed to be, right? They're
starting to now.
Well, we have outrun the boat manufacturers, the boat builders, with our technology, with multiple graphs at the bow, multiple graphs at the front, forward-facing sonars, 360s, power poles, talons, talons really, Raptors, all that stuff. We've added so much, thank goodness for lithium batteries or really good beefed up 31 series AGMs and stuff like that. But the wiring between the device itself and the battery has never really been upgraded. And so we learned a lot from Mike Corbishley. And if you guys check that episode out, that was way back in the past, but we had Mike on. Mike works for Navico and Lowrance. He talked a lot about that. Trent talks a lot about that. So like, if I had $1.35 billion, like what was asked earlier, was that Tim that asked that?
Mm.
I would damn sure make sure my boat was beefed up with the best wiring harness it could be.
I'd take it to Sonar Pros and
yeah,
I'd buy the boat and then run it right down there because after talking to him, Trent knows exactly how to get that boat set up right. And I'll be honest with you, like I've always said, you don't need lithiums. You don't need lithiums for your electronics. You don't need them. It's getting to the point where you're going to have lithium batteries to run the stuff you're running. If you're running everything now, like for me, my console graphs, like I'm perfectly fine running those on my 31 AG I run. But my forward facing and all that now, I run that on a separate, its own lithium battery.
And that's because like typically when you're running your console ones, you're idling.
I'm idling. Yep.
Right. You're getting the alternator charge.
As long as you remember to put them in standby, which I forget a lot too.
Yeah. I constantly got on that habit from a few years ago. If I won that, I'm getting the MBT.
Yeah, what is that?
The next big thing.
Oh,
you can have like a 30-inch screen up there.
I'm gonna have one on the front and one on the console for sure too.
Yeah. All right, here's a question for the crowd. What is how big is too big for a fishing or a fish finder, a screen, a graph? Because what Ben's talking about is there's a couple anglers on tour, some of the tours rather, that are running 21-inch screens on their boat. I like the concept. Instead of having 2 to 3 graphs up front, you got one. Now Pete's shaking his head left and right, but I know he agrees with me.
No, I mean, I think a lot depends on if you're running, like if you're just running Garmin and Live Scope, it makes sense. But like I couldn't do it because I'll never not have Humminbird 360. And then with your forward facing, it just makes sense to have 2 stacked. I'm with Mike. I think 16 inch is that sweet spot. A 16-inch a single on the console is more than enough to be able to split screen and do everything you need to do and have enough view. Because you're essentially going to have 8x4 if you go all four blocks. I'm with you, Mike. I like 12s. So my front, I run a 10-inch for my 360 and a 12-inch for forward facing, and then I have a 10-inch for side imaging, and then I run a 9 for.
If money was no issue, I'd pull a Pete. I'd be having Live Scope and 360 up front.
Yeah.
If it's 16-inch or 21-inch screen, and then probably a 10-inch for Humminbird or and then a little mapping one.
360.
I'm stupid simple mostly because like I just can't afford to buy all that stuff, but I run a 1.9 at my console and 1.9 up front. But the cool thing is though is you don't have to go bigger with the graphs, but you can do some certain things that kind of help you out, right? There's a couple different companies that are making cool mounts, especially for up front when you're on that trolling motor. And I'm not going to name the names because I don't want to give them free PR, but like there's cool mounts that either flip up and they get to an elevation to where you're not constantly hunching over. There's ones that expand. You can check out James Watson on the BPT. He runs a pretty neat one. Andrew Nordby, he fishes Toyota, or I think he fishes the MLF Invitationals. He runs a different style one. So they created really cool options for you. So if you don't want to buy a 400-inch screen, you can. I mean,
I'll give him free advertisement. Here's Beatdown Outdoors.
Yeah, Beatdown Outdoors.
We're on live here. I'll give it to him. They make a cool mount, like Trey said. It's telescoping. I also know a dude though back in Pennsylvania. Shout out to Mr. Shirley that I went to church with back there. Built one out of a Razor scooter.
What?
Yeah, I'll show you. It's cool. So he took a Razor scooter, he cut it off. So you know how the handlebars slid up and down?
Yeah.
Cut that off. Took it to a fab, welded a little thing on there so he could mount his graph.
Yeah.
And he could slide it up and down.
How's that?
And then you know how the Razor's folded up?
Yeah.
So he can do that too. So he folds it, it lays flat down on his deck. He can raise it up and down. So if you're a DIY individual, hit me up and I'll send you
I need
pictures of how he did that because it was really cool. It was a super smart idea.
I need to have something so I can rig my camera up.
Oh yeah,
My
GoPro. Your phone.
Oh yeah.
And go live stream.
Yeah.
Because right now I got rigged up with my lashing skills. I respect. Hey, it's lashed good.
So
Boy Scouts taught me that well 20 years ago.
I think that's my mom. Hey mom.
Hi mom.
Hi mom. I haven't talked to my mom I talked to her yesterday.
Thanks for the frogs, mom.
Shout out to all the moms out there who produced awesome anglers.
That's right.
Like me, of course.
I'm my mom's favorite fisherman.
Oh, for sure. I'm my favorite fisherman.
Pregnant people.
I'm the best fisherman I've ever. I'm the best fisherman I've ever met.
That's the new term that's going around.
Oh yeah, you can't say
What do you mean?
birthing person.
Birthing person. Yeah.
BP?
Yeah, it's a BP now.
Brandon Polnick? I just that acronym's already been taken. Like, stop it. Yeah, man. So dude, fishing's been tough.
I saw the Wildcat here at Jordan on Tuesday. The winner had like 10 pounds.
Yo,
Didn't Steve win, or he's second?
That was a
Our
Harris.
buddy Steve Lope. No, he did it on Jordan too.
Jordan.
I'm gonna pull it.
That
up
wasn't
right
this
now.
last Tuesday.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was right there. I don't think he won. He might have been second.
So
Go ahead, keep talking.
the weights have been low, but the lakes have been absolutely hammered. The temperature has been just
Brutal.
crazy hot.
That's the old website.
However, what I do like, Mike Corbersley, of course, he won
This was Mike Corbersley won the
yesterday.
the Thursday night on Falls.
On Falls Lake. Listen, if you fish against Mike Corbersley on Falls Lake,
Just give him your money.
you might as well just give him your money.
Steve,
It's okay to accept.
Mike,
second
if you're
place.
on there, just
He's not.
people just give you the money.
Um,
I gotta find it because.
but here's what I so
I
the
saw it too.
I'm not a huge fan of the Wildcat tournaments, but I understand them. Like
they kill a lot of fish.
They kill a lot of fish, man. So the other day, I went to the ramp and there was a dead 5.5 pounder. And
Eric.
listen, fish mortality, like
yeah, second.
fish kills happen.
3 fish.
Yeah, fish kills happen. I get it. But go check our conversation out with Chelsea Shandrick 2 episodes ago. Go check our conversation out with Harvey Horn.
Big fish was like 5.72.
Yeah.
But
There's learn how to fizz fish.
learn how to take care of fish. Is it going to kill our fisheries? No. Does it look bad on anglers when there's a bunch of dead fish floating around the ramp? Yeah, I'd say so. And plus it just stinks. But it's an interesting thing. Like I'm not a huge fan of the Wildcats because I don't think like conservation is the first thing.
Before we keep going, I just posted a link for Barb Elliott's Facebook page. Go send her a message and order you a fizz kit from her. She's gonna give you her phone number when you message her. She's going to tell you to message her, call her anytime. If you have any questions, it has really good colored instructions for both smallmouth and largemouth. I believe spots
same way as the small,
just as the same as a smallmouth, but she'll answer that for you. Comes with everything you need. It's a great little kit. I think it was $5 or $10. I just ordered 10 of them. So if you're local and you want one, holler at me and I'll hook you up. I gave both these guys one.
We should do a giveaway.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we'll work something out for the podcast.
Yeah, we'll work something out.
Speaking of giveaways, we're not going to give this away, but we are going to have some apparel coming. We got some shirts, working on some hat stuff. So keep your eyes open for that if you're interested in supporting us with some One Cast apparel. Excited to finally get that rolling. But back to what Trey was saying before I rudely interrupted him. I agree. I don't think that fish conservation on Wildcat tournaments are number one. I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to have Corey Oakley back, and I'm going to have a conversation with him off the record. But I think the state needs to step in and stop issuing permits from June to the end of August. I don't think there's any reason to have tournaments during that time of year because it's just when you're talking about 92, 93, 94 degree water in some cases, I don't care. Most of those fish are going to die no matter how good you do. Now there is some technology coming. We talked about in the episode with Chelsea. Go back and listen. There's some stuff coming that I think is going to help with that.
Yep.
But I don't care how much you ice, how much you fizz. It is very hard to not kill a bunch of fish in 90 plus degree water. It's just not. The only fish I've ever lost in a tournament was in a 94 degree water temperature tournament on Jordan Lake, and it was a 7.5 pounder. And I was sick to my stomach.
Yep.
And I fizzed her. I had ice. I did everything you're supposed to do. G-juice, but she was so stressed already when I got her to the boat. And I even went and weighed her early because that's one thing that I was fishing a PBC that they've always let you do is come weigh your fish.
Yeah, I like that about them.
I spent an hour and 45 minutes trying to revive that fish and she still died.
Yeah. I mean, listen, not everybody has the opportunity to fish tournaments on the weekends or be a part of an outfit, right? Whether or not that's the American Bass Anglers or, let's go higher level stuff or even fish BFLs. So Wednesday, Wildcat tournaments are a cool opportunity to fish for 4 hours?
Yeah.
I think it's like
Usually
4 or
3 or
5
4
hours or whatever
hours,
until
yeah.
dark. It's a cool opportunity for those who can make it. Here's what I'll say about it though. Depending on where you're at. So in the summertime, I do like how the tournament directors, and I put that in air quotes because they're not professionally ran and they shouldn't be. They're just good old boy tournaments.
And I'm not bashing anybody that's fishing.
Nope, because I've fished them too.
We're not doing that. I've fished them as well.
I've totally fished them
them
too.
with the first time I ever actually hung out with
Yeah.
Ben. We fished one.
Actually, the ones that are held on Falls Lake are really, they're ran really well.
Yep, give your money to
Mike and Jesse Wise. But what I will say they do well is in the peak of the summer, they limit it to 3 fish.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good choice.
Mike, I see you disagree. We get hot temps here. We don't see a lot of dead fish. You're also talking about Florida strain fish. And what's cold water for you guys? Honestly, like 70.
Yeah,
we spend more than half the year below 80 degrees.
So Mike,
in that 60 degrees.
Mike, I would say that the difference between the fish up here and the fish down there is you're not ripping fish out of 25 feet of water. Well, I mean, us.
Hell, you can catch them deeper in the summertime in the Harris chain.
Brad, Chris, and Nick, what's going on, boys?
Well,
70-ish is low. Yeah, so
right? When you get off on those shell beds and all.
Yeah, it's possible down there.
Yeah, but most people down in Florida,
it's just a completely different ecosystem. Like more grass. They're different fish. Florida strain is a different strain of fish.
The oxygen
levels are higher.
Would be interesting to compare.
I mean, there were some. So when I went down and fished that tournament with Mike,
we don't have 25 feet. You got to go offshore for that, Mike.
Offshore is like 8 feet for them.
No, I mean offshore in the ocean to get above 25 foot.
But there were some fish kills. Like fish kill is going to happen, man. Like there's fish that are dying or that you stress out and they just die. They just do that. But the fish down in Florida, they have no choice but to live shallow because that's all they have. Yeah. Like on certain bodies of water do get deeper. Certain areas in that chain may get
deep. I'm saying here, like in the summertime, we rarely fish deeper than 15 foot.
Right. We definitely, yeah. I mean, there are some brush piles that are in 20, 25 feet of water that are holding fish, but
where? I mean, what lake? Because the thermocline on most of our lakes is at 15 to 17 feet.
Yeah.
Guys that claim they're catching them in 20, 25, 30 foot of water are full of it because our thermoclines on 95% of our lakes don't get below 17 feet.
Yeah. I mean, there are some fish you can catch in like 18, 20 foot of water though. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
But regardless,
maybe on Harris, it does have a weird.
I think I'm generalizing Wildcat tournaments. The reality is each Wildcat tournament is ran its own way. What I don't like about them is there really is no checks and balances with them, or the ones that are around here per se.
There's
sometimes
not any local of it.
And it's interesting when you see. Sometimes the same people win all the time, right? Over the entire year. The other thing about Wildcat tournaments, that's exactly what they're called Wildcats, is because they're just a wildcat tournament, man. Like you got bubbas that can spend all day out on the water. Then you got bubbas that get off work at 4 o'clock and then they go to the lake. And then, so it's really just good gambling at that point. But I don't like fishing them.
I don't like hot water tournaments in North Carolina because they kill a lot of fish at every level, no matter who the tournament director is, whether it's a Wildcat or the Cat Trail. Fish are dying at warm water, and somebody needs to do something about it. And that's all I got to say about it.
Just don't fish them. Just don't fish them.
I don't.
What was the other thing that we wanted to talk about?
Apparel. We talked about that. Brad, Chris, and Nick checking in. I think I said hi to you boys, but I'll say it again. What's going on, guys? Glad you were able to jump on.
This is KVD's last event.
KVD's last event. If you guys are
I will say,
fan,
because I've checked out and watched some of it. I'm old. I don't want to come off as bad, right? but I am even more impressed with the NPFL anglers now. And I say that right because the MLF BPT and most of those guys were poached from bass. This is what they've been doing. They are considered professional, right? I know the weather conditions are a little bit different, but the weights are
Absolutely the same.
if not a little bit worse on the
Saginaw Bay.
on Saginaw Bay in the
Yep.
top end. And largemouth is playing big because, as Trent was talking last week, like those smallmouth schools offshore, they're not very big. Like he was getting 8 or 9 bites a day.
Yep.
And so, although last time I checked, like most of the top 10 or the highest leaders had all smallmouth, most of the field is catching their limit to make the cut, just catching largemouth out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That Saginaw Bay, man, I've never fished it before. You fish it, Pete? Man, that's a beast of a body of water, but I don't want to say any more on that. Like, you should totally go watch the episode or listen to the episode. So
yeah, listen to how Tyler or Trent caught them.
Yeah.
Listen to the top 3 caught them the same way. Well, top 4 really caught them the same way, and then compare that. Look at the statistics and weights, and then compare that to what's going on in the BPT. Like he said, there's a lot of parity there. Some guys are on smallmouth, some aren't. It seems like they've caught more bigger largemouth, a better quality largemouth. A lot of those guys. I saw somebody had 17 pounds of all largemouth the other day.
Yeah,
we didn't see that.
Christie, I think, had.
He had a big bag of largemouth.
Yeah.
But I think it's a cool fishery because you have
Not
that
Christie.
option.
No, it's St. Clair.
Oh yeah,
St.
he's at St.
He did that.
He did it at St. Clair.
He did it at St.
He
Clair.
ran up the river and caught some.
Yeah.
largemouth.
Not.
Yeah. Saginaw is cool because they got that grass. Like being able to go chase those largemouth in that kind of environment is pretty cool there. And then obviously you have the smallmouth offshore, which some people found, some people didn't. Yeah. So BPT's in, and KVD's professional fishing career last tournament. Maybe. I don't think it is. He's coming back.
I feel like it's such a teaser.
He's coming back.
I feel like it's a teaser.
It's the only reason why I feel this way is I think 2 to 5 years from now, or even longer, at some point, KVD is going to come back as legend status to the Bassmaster Series.
That's what I think. It's not a money thing for him.
No.
At this point, he's got enough money. He's built enough relationships with the companies. Like KVD is good.
Oh yeah.
But I really like Ben. I think that competitive nature that he's had his whole life is going to start to nip, and he's going to want to fish competitively.
I mean, we're second for Group A.
Yeah. And you know what, dude? Like, man,
he's going to Michael Jordan us. He might, Michael.
Sorry, no.
Mike said, I loved
He dropped down.
Saginaw Bay. I think he's what he's talking about. Loved Saginaw Bay last year. Caught almost everything on a buzz bait. Mike, I wonder. I don't know if you had the bearings in your bait caster at the time, but if you threw the same rod and reel combination with your buzz bait, I'm surprised the fish didn't like jump out of the water and run away as loud as that bait caster was. Like Mike chucked this. What kind of bearings did he have? Ceramic bearings. So he made like the first caster in practice on Toho, and that thing sounded like it was an incoming rocket. Like it was just, and I was like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't realize they were that loud."
Yeah, he's used to.
But that was pretty fun.
He's used to just fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is funny. It's cool. Like, man, when you fish with everybody has their own way of fishing. Mike, you definitely are really good at doing that whole like one-handed casting deal. That is something I've never mastered. I just can't do it unless it's with a spinning rod and skipping a worm or something. But I cannot do that. So
let them know it's coming.
Yeah,
I think it's a bird squealing to its death and about to hit the water.
Yeah, and that's why I had to show you how to catch over.
Here we go.
Fish. So,
Harris boy, everything's an over, her under.
Yeah, Mike, we definitely wish you good luck at Lake Kiwi, man. I know up in the comments earlier you said, yeah, it's official. I'm going to be fishing the BFL up there, which is a body of water he's never fished before. But him and I talked the other night, and we're kind of going over the map, and it was like, man, there's a lot of stuff to fish on Kiwi.
I can get you hooked up with some folks that have fished it a good bit, and we'll probably.
Mike reached out to us after we're done with the show.
Right, talk with you. There's no off limits rules in the BFL, so
yeah,
I can get you as much juice as I can get you. I know there are folks that aren't fishing it too, so
yeah. Speaking of we always talk about the MPFL obviously because we're super fans of it. BASS because you're always going to be a fan of BASS. And yeah, we give the MLF a lot of shit and stuff, but like we're fans of fishing in general. There's not a lot of credit given to, the opens, the EQs, the invitationals, and then stuff below that. You got Fishers of Men, and you got, what is it, the Texas Bass Fest or Texas Team Trail, whatever it's called.
What's the one out west?
Yeah, you got the one out west.
Well, that one's the one that's folding because they couldn't pay their
engineers. But then you got like things like the ABA, right? We don't really talk about that a lot, but the ABA, man, they've been around for what?
Long time,
like over 20 years, 27 years or something like that.
More like 30, I think.
Yeah, that
30 or 40.
And I was talking earlier, like, there's a lot of opportunities to fish. Maybe you don't have the funds to make it.
The ABA, for those who knows, American Bass Anglers.
Yeah, American Bass Anglers. They've been around for a really long time, and they cover they have like, what is it, like 600 tournaments a year nationally, just across the United States and stuff like that. But we don't really talk about
1975. They've been around.
So before any of us were born.
They were the MBAA back then.
Yeah, it was the National Bass Anglers Association.
The National MBAA.
No,
N. M is in Mike.
Oh, is it Mike? What is that? What does the M stand for?
Men's Bass Angling. I don't know. It was 75, so who knows?
Yeah.
But it is the ABA, so American Bass Anglers. But there's also a rumor I heard about the ABA.
What'd you hear about them?
I may or may not have heard a rumor floating around out there that the ABA might be being purchased by another organization. An organization that's going to change things. They're going to do a great job.
You were terrible at that. Terrible at like.
So how cool would it be? How cool would it be if there was opportunities that grew within inside the industry, right? And what we're talking about here is, all of these organizations we talk about are businesses, right? There's owners of them or several owners of them and things like that. There's presidents of them. They are ran like a LLC or an S Corp or whatever the case may be. But what Pete's talking about is
this is a rumor.
Yeah, there may be opportunities that expand the industry and some big names. And how cool would it be if we saw something like the American Bass Anglers grow into something that somebody else will give it an opportunity to grow into, right? So it's kind of neat to see how, we have progressed with technology and lures and all this other stuff. But, with growth, sometimes comes sacrifice. With sacrifice comes opportunities. And then when we create opportunities, then others can capitalize on those and make things even more cool and better for anglers. And so we might see some really cool stuff with the American Bass Anglers coming down the line.
I think what's exciting about that potential partnership that we heard the rumor about and who may be purchasing to them is like a national level, like think BASS Elite Series, think BPT, but a team trail where two guys.
You left out the MPFL.
I did. Oh yeah, the MPFL,
yeah.
Like who we're huge fans of, obviously. A team trail fishing that level, like a national tour, going to all those those lakes and getting to see the difference in fishing a team tour, because it is a completely different beast than one guy in a boat fishing against himself. Because when you get to that level and you talk to these elite guys and guys in BPT, and as they get to those individual tournaments, you're fishing against yourself. They don't even think about the other people.
Right.
Like it's all about your decisions, what you do, capitalizing on your opportunities, recovering from your failures. But when you have two guys in the boat, there's a whole new level of drama. Like when Trey, plays a 5-pounder and then loses it at the boat because he doesn't just crank it in, and I'm yelling at him. No, but it's a whole different thing. So to see that expanded on by an organization that has some infrastructure at that level already, some opportunities there for folks to do some different things. It's really exciting what we heard. Don't know if there's any truth to it. So honestly, I hope there is.
The other thing I'll say is, everyone wants to grow something new. But what I think is cool about maybe what's going to happen is when the infrastructure is already in place, you don't it takes out a lot of the work, right?
Yep.
So the demand is already there because the consumer, they're us, right? The anglers. The demand is already there. And so instead of growing something or building something from the ground up, because we already know how crazy big the fishing industry is, the bass fishing industry, it's pretty cool to kind of look at what Pete's talking about. And Ben knows, rumor has it that the infrastructure that already exists may be getting a little bit better. Right. So that's what we'll say with that.
Yeah. So keep your eyes open for some news in the fishing world. And as we learn more, if it comes to fruition, if the rumors are true, obviously we'll share anything that we've heard with our listeners and followers and all that good stuff as it comes out. But that was the little bit. That's Chelsea. Leave my pal alone. Look, Chelsea. Even you made fun of the way he like tippy-toed around the boat when he hooked that fish in our YouTube video.
Oh,
but Trey also made fun of himself, so fair.
Yeah.
But
Ben, you got to say anything on that?
I was thinking team tournament and snafus landing on.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of drama.
Doggone, I don't think we were in a tournament, but flipping crickets and I, Sam were fishing we were fishing Jordan. I don't know if this was the practice or tournament night, and I had a 6-pounder on a crankbait coming in, and he knocks the fish off with the net.
Oh, back to the co-angler.
That is actually, it's on video. It's one of the old videos. I think it was actually practice. I think that's the day before. I don't remember. That's the day before we came back and then had 18 pounds with 3 fish and took 6th place.
That lake is so wild, man.
Yeah,
dude.
No, sorry. We had 15 something. Sorry.
Still,
Didn't you have
With
like
3
16
fish, yeah.
or something with 3 fish this year? And
I had almost 20 pounds with 4 fish and came in 12.
yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's old Jordan Lake for you.
It's because I played that other 5-pounder for
You
5
probably
minutes.
did. I'm like, get them in the boat. I don't mess around. I just crank them, grind them till they're like old G-Man said. Don't let them know they're hooked. As soon as you set the hook, just grind them in the boat. Let them figure it out when they hit the carpet.
Yeah.
But I like
apparently that's just a slight touch if they bounce up.
Yeah. So the reference there is maintain some freaking integrity.
Yeah. If you didn't see, I'll call them right out because I've been doing it. I don't care. So another video came out from the MLF at Saginaw Bay.
Was it Spencer Sheffield again?
I don't think
Yes,
was it.
it was.
Oh, it was Spencer Sheffield again. So now I wonder how much he's paying his marshals. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe. Anyway, he hooks a fish, grinds it to the boat, and then boat flips. For anybody that watches in MLF, the fish cannot touch the carpet, right? Now, like if their tail touches it, they can call a slight touch and it's not a penalty. If it touches the carpet, it's supposed to be 2 minutes. This fish bounces, y'all. Like, and then he grabs it and picks it up, and the marshal said, and he goes, "Slight touch, no penalty." I was like, that fish is literally unconscious.
That 100. I said this in the 2 episodes ago. That was absolutely not Spencer's fault. That
it wasn't
absolutely the marshal.
And I was just kidding about him paying marshals off for anybody that's gonna tear us up. Like, it was a bad call, and that comes back to when we talked about the MLF and the way they want to do things, right? Like with the marshal, catch, weigh, release. Those marshals used to be on staff. Well, money thing, they couldn't do that anymore. Now you're starting to see why. If you're going to do that and you're going to have a referee, they need to be paid and they need to be part of the organization.
Yeah. So there's something to be said. Like if you can get fired, then you're probably going to have a little bit, you're going to make better decisions. But like volunteers, it's like, well, I don't really have anything to lose.
Imagine as a sports fan, and I'm just going to I'll use baseball as an example.
Terrible.
Imagine you're a Yankees fan, or right? Whatever, just because they're a team that everybody knows. And before you're like, I'm going to the game on August 23rd. Imagine if there was a link you could click and say, I'm going to umpire that game. I'm going to sign up. Here's my $50. Throw me on the field. Imagine if a professional sports organization, football, baseball, hockey, whatever it is, let their fans sign up to be a referee. Like I get it with BASS because they don't require.
That might be better.
Yeah,
there are times, but BASS does not require a marshal, right? Like if you have one, great. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. you have to have one in MLF. They
Yeah.
have to have somebody there
I know.
to act as the judge, man. Like
It's crazy to me that like there is an official on every. Do they still wear like the straight up like?
they still give them the striped.
Yeah,
shirt.
like
yeah.
like dude, I feel
With
like
Toro on
I
the
feel
back.
like it's necessary for them to start having like yellow flags tucked into their belt. Like, I mean, don't litter in the lake. I'm not saying that, but like, yeah, dude, like that was insane.
or a flare to shoot off.
Or like you have like
That'd be entertaining.
or like a
May-
bamboo stick to
maybe,
like whack the angler
maybe
with.
like every angler should have the ability to have somebody monitoring the live feed, and they could challenge a play. Be like, nope, that
Yeah.
wasn't a slight touch. I want to review that. And
Yeah.
they-
See, that's that, and we talked about this, man. That's what I miss. That's why I truly miss what the MLF started. Like that whole Cup series, take anglers to an unknown body of water, release them, fair deal across the board. That was such a cool format. And then they came to this, and it's just unfortunate that there's a bunch of goats, right? Figuratively speaking, Kevin Van Dams and Andy Morgans and Mark Roses and all these great anglers that are
Say
wrapped
it.
up in this.
Just
track.
say it. I know you don't want to. Say it. I
I'm
want to
not-
hear you say his name.
Jacob Wheeler.
Hey, it's interesting.
Yeah, Jacob.
There's like a 4-way race right now.
Ott
for,
Defoe.
Angler
Odd
of the Year.
Defoe, yeah.
Like there's and all these.
Oh yeah, you're
dudes,
right. You're right.
Other than DC, Dustin Connell, all those guys have won at the elite level too. They
Yep.
have blue, like, so they, they can do it.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
hate to keep beating this up. The split was a tough thing. I understand why
Did you
some
guys-
anglers left bass. Some
Did you
went
guys
there,
watch
but
Zaldane's thing about the split?
I did not.
I didn't watch his
it's-
thing, but I read his post.
It came out this week. His Zal Dangerous episode, whatever these call his podcast.
The
I
bilge.
haven't listened to it because I finished listening to Mercer today, and
I still need to go back and listen to that one.
yeah, the title is they're talking about the split,
Yeah,
like the inside stuff.
I knew he wanted to talk about
the
it.
clickbait's kind of like the inside stuff that happened during the split.
Matt Becker, yeah, home Matty Becker. You mean it wasn't the same fish he caught twice, Michael? Old Mike Johns. Anyway, I'm not talking about this anymore. The split, go listen to Zaldane because he brings up a lot of good points. Like a lot of that was driven
Wait.
by the
Did you listen to it?
no, but he made a big post that I read about it and
Oh,
said he was going
okay.
to elaborate more.
That's right.
But remembering back to when that happened, a lot of it was about sponsor money. That was when the non-endemic sponsors really started to pull out. So like the Sitgos and all of those, they stopped giving everybody boats. That was the start like 5 years before that, right? So now there's a smaller pool of money and everybody was competing for it. And there was a lot of clash within like the elite level, which were they the elites back then or the 150s, whatever they were.
They were
then.
the elites. Yeah.
There was a lot of clashing amongst the anglers and people were frustrated because, oh, you stole this sponsor left and took this guy.
That makes sense.
And so there was a lot of disdain there and guys left because there was an opportunity to still represent Rapala, but now I'm representing them in a different league. And so the Rapala goes, well, I got to have an angler in both because they're both professional leagues,
it's
quote unquote.
yeah, it's interesting when the split actually happened. 2019,
18.
First season was 19.
First season was 19. Everybody started.
It was in the work for probably a couple of years.
I'm sure.
Right. So you start people talking about this 2015, 16. It's very interesting, right? Because after the last, the Great Recession, right, 2008, 9, like all those $300,000 payouts went away.
Yep.
And a lot of the big non-endemic sponsors went away. I don't know exactly when Walmart pulled out of FOW and all that, but because all during the 90s, right, they had $300,000 prizes.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of that big money pulled out after that recession, and it didn't all come back. And then that was also the time that YouTube exploded and probably started taking the influencer game, probably started taking some of those sponsorship dollars away.
It'd be interesting to look at when
It's interesting.
when that whole YouTube and people started investing in content creators there, because I never really
It was about that time because that's about when like
15, 16
because
when it really started to blow up.
that's really that's when the Googans were exploding, and then
Okay.
that's when they were really on their way.
And the
up.
guys that they started to snatch already had big followings. the guys that joined that weren't
Yeah,
part of the
this
founders.
is way
and all
before
that,
Goog
so.
and Bates, right? So they were working with Favorite
Yeah,
and MTB and all of them a lot more.
Yeah, you're right. So
Um,
that would have been 2014, 15, somewhere in there.
Mhm.
But I'm just going back and watching some of the old BS.
Why do they call it the split? That's a question for me. Why do they call it the
The
split?
schism,
the schism?
Like, yeah,
the great
but,
schism in
but-
bass fishing.
but a lot of guys are referring to it as like, oh, when the split happened.
I mean, it was a split. It divided that level of fishing. There had never been another league that competed with BASS at that level. FLW was never looked at the same level of BASS. They never tried to be.
right.
Like the FLW did their thing. They did it great. They had an awesome series, but they never tried to nudge up to the Elite Series, the 150s, go back their history and all the names.
I mean,
And then all of a sudden, this other organization comes and they go, "We're the same as you. We have all these same big sponsors. Everything's the same. We're gonna take your anglers." And they pulled those anglers. So it was truly a split in the industry. I mean, it split that level.
I think the split's got to do more with the taking the anglers because because FLW had a lot of money. They had some big names. They had big bass names go fish there. Rick Clunn won tournaments there. KVD fished there.
They did, but they didn't have the same coverage. What was promised by MLF and the BPT was the same coverage. I never watched, I'll tell you right now, a single FLW tournament in my entire life.
Oh, I liked it because they would go to events at different times.
Yeah.
But I think the split really is because you took all instead of coming up with their own field, qualifying and accepting people, they basically poached half, if not more, of the Bassmaster guys and took very few FLW guys.
Yeah.
And so it really was and so most of the FLW guys went over to fish the elites if they wanted, the open to qualify. So it really was like a split between the cliques of the anglers, of the ones who left to take all the big money, kind of like Live. Except MLF's not Saudi backed, but
Yeah.
I don't look at it, and Mike, you're right. Nothing will ever top the classic.
That's be a tough one to beat.
That's kind of like looking back,
history and everything.
No matter what color beret you have in the Army, nothing's really gonna top the green beret. But I look at it as the growth of the industry, right? People say it's a split, but I look at it as a growth because when you look at the industry, when there was one major, right? FLW also was a national tour event or tour league, but now, right? It's the growth. And the best damn thing that come about this is the National Professional Fishing League. And it grew. Bass has grown. BPT, they've grown, but the MPFL, they've grown. Like our industry, I say our loosely, has exploded, dude. And I think it's a culmination of all of the things, from social media and influencers to now 3 major national tournament circuits. Dude, I mean, new bass boats coming out. I mean, the industry, it was like over 5 years just exploded.
That was going to happen regardless. The way they handled it, there's no way I can see it as growth.
Because
they brought it in as a divide.
I'm trying to be positive here.
Well, but they built it to be divisive. Like the whole advertising campaign, the way it was like, it was always to compete with BASS. It wasn't to give another platform to anglers. It's always a competition.
The competition is great.
It is growth,
but not the way that it was advertised. The way they did it, they didn't show it as
no, and
could be positive.
Let's not confuse a bad business model with growth. Like it did, in fact, grow the industry. But now it created then
I think all that stuff would have happened regardless.
Well, I'm not saying it wouldn't have. But the facts are that it happened. Now you have the Toyota Series, the Invitationals, the BPT. You got the Opens, aka the EQs if you choose to fish them, the Elite Series. Now the National Professional Fishing League. Maybe something to add on to that. We talked about all of these little things. Like it just created opportunities for
Steve?
Anglers. So is that Steven?
Steve, we just talked about your second place on old Jordan. On
Congratulations on being a bridesmaid on Tuesday night, Steven.
And won the sport. Well, the sport wasn't built on competition, but it is definitely.
We do have call-ins, by the way.
We
Sometimes,
should do
Steve.
call-ins. That would be. We could like set up a business line and have people call and ask questions.
Well, they should be able to just.
Well, then we have to bring them into the video, and then I have to kick them out when I don't want to hear them.
Well, that's
that's
fine.
not nice.
We can be that. We can perfectly. We can be like, nope.
We might
you're
do that.
done.
See, that would be pretty cool. The sport. So
We gotta get some sound effects.
yeah, Clayton, I get what you're saying there. Like, if you're a fan of tournament fishing, then you see it built. But 50 million anglers, like less than 1% or less, are tournament fishermen.
Don't look at my soundboard.
We welcome any new platforms as well, Clayton. That's why we're excited about the rumor with the ABA. That's why we love the NPFL. That's why, we're fans of fishing. MLF, I'm a fan. I do watch it. I don't want to say I'm a fan because I disagree
You're a fan of the
fundamentally
sport.
with some of the things that they've done. I just don't like the way that the split occurred. I don't like the way it was advertised.
Let's stop.
All that good
Let's
stuff.
stop.
But anyway,
talking about old news.
Ben,
all I want to
It's
do
important.
though is say like there's three big businesses, right?
yeah,
And no business grows without some serious hurdles,
absolutely.
right? Some serious obstacles. It's not like BASS didn't have their share and continue to have their share of issues. BPT, man, they've only been around since what?
2018.
Well, yeah, 2018. They got it right with the MLF Cup events. They got it right.
100%.
Oh yeah.
They're growing, right? And so even the first 5 years of a business is like it's infant stages. So who's to say that it won't grow into something fantastic?
Yeah, well, they're not going to make it out of 5. They're not going to make it.
Who's to say they're not? I mean, besides Pete. But I'm just saying.
All you have to do is look
I
at what
hope they
they've done
do.
through the BFLs. I hope they do too, because I think it's good to have the competition.
Sure
But
doesn't
if you-
sound like it.
If you look at what they've done with entry fees and everything they're doing to the lower levels, knowing people that fished the pro tour when it was the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, and things that were said to them, it's not going to make it if they don't do something.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I believe you're right. You're talking about business decisions.
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Oh
Like,
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
business decisions, and that's where the anglers are at the they're at the expense of the owners making good or bad decisions.
Yeah.
Like that is the way it is, and that's with any business out there. But I'm just saying, like, for the growth of the sport, for the being a fan of bass fishing, I hope that it succeeds. Like, and we talk a lot of shit because, like, well, let's be honest, there's a lot of beep to talk about, but it's been the best thing for the industry with them coming on board. It's been an amazing opportunity for the NPFL to grow, and hopefully it just creates more paths, because we never had high school fishing. We never had collegiate fishing. Well, goodness gracious, like, look at all that stuff.
Speaking of paths, and maybe we wrap it up here, but the best thing they did is when they took all those anglers, it allowed a whole new crop to come up to the Elite Series that would have never made it, who have gone on to beat and win multiple blue trophies and proven they are some of the best in the world.
That's true.
And now with the NPFL coming along and the caliber of people they're getting and they're seeing and they're winning, like, there's a lot of hammers out there. And the more level organizations that you can have this type of payout, right, at this type of business level, right,
What's up, Stephanie?
is great for growing the industry in general, because there's more opportunities for people.
That's right.
It's great for growing tournament fishing. I don't know if it's the best for the industry
Well,
overall, because we know how tournament anglers are. When we talk about growing the industry, we need to talk about fishing as a whole. And there's 49 million anglers that don't fish tournaments. And don't care about tournaments. I meet people every day that you're like, oh, did you see so-and-so won? And they're like, what's that? And they're out there fishing just like we are. They have no idea. So
but
I think there's negative when everything on TikTok, everything on Instagram, everything on Facebook
It's not
people.
all negative.
There's a lot of mostly negative.
no, you're right. There's a lot of
If you're just an everyday angler and all you're seeing is all of that, like, does that really? If you're sitting there and you see people talking about all this cheating and all, speaking of cheating, I'm going to get on something there real quick. All of that, like, why would you want to jump head over heels in the sport of fishing when you're like, look at all these dudes, all they do is argue all day. Stephanie's talked about it on some of her stuff. Like, why do we keep talking about it? And I want to talk about one more cheating thing just because I have fun talking about walleye, guys. New York had 2 dudes stuffing walleye again caught over the weekend in a big walleye tournament. I didn't get all the details. Somebody's supposed to send me the article before we went on, but I didn't get it. So I'll post about that in our stuff. But apparently it happened again in walleye fishing. Somebody has stuffed walleye. From my understanding this was with fillets.
So we think bass fishing.
You think bass fishing bad. At least we're not stuffing stuff in our fish to get more
that we
weight.
know of.
What's coming up, Trey? What you got coming up? You got to know your tournament season is pretty much done.
Yeah, I'm contemplating, Mike, on entering that BFL down at Kiwi. I'll make that decision over the weekend. I very well might just go down there and fish blind and fish Lake Kiwi.
Walleye fisherman, that's right, Clayton.
For the rest of the year, man, like I'm really looking forward to the fall. I'm really looking forward to when those fish push up on flats and they start eating a lot of threadfin shad and stuff like that, and start getting after that crawdad, that deal and stuff where square bills play a role and jerk baits play a role. That you can still catch them on them now, but I'm looking forward to putting that hoodie back on, Ben. I don't like walking out and being saturated with moisture.
Yeah. I'm ready for this cool morning run.
But and I'm looking forward to things kind of slowing down a little bit. We've been grinding. The off season, if you will, gives us an opportunity to reset, refit, recalibrate, and make sure that we're doing things on our end to make things better for you guys and stuff like that. So those are things that I'm looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to the same fall, hoodie weather, cold runs in the morning,
bonfires,
big schools of shad pushing up shallow so that I can get frustrated because the bass won't eat anything but real shad. Just in general, like I'm ready for a reset. Like it's been a challenging year for me. Tournament fishing, one of the worst I've ever had. Like just struggled this year, just bad decisions and not fishing the moment and trying to fish history when I shouldn't be, stuff like that. So I'm ready to kind of reset.
Then why do you want to fish with Mike?
I'm just going down there because I want to get run into the lily pads in one of those
I'm
little
just
boat
kidding,
lanes
Mike.
down there with old Mike.
Dude, we get.
But,
hey, listen, I'll let you finish in a second, but we give Mike Johns a lot of crap, dude. Mike's a great friend, and I just that's all we do is we trash talk. We're Army dudes, and that's the way we operate. So don't take offense to it.
We're coming up on a year of doing this too, which is exciting. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to get to a year and to kind of sit back and reflect on it's coming quick, man. It's already August. That's 8 months.
Yeah, it's true.
It's only 3 months to a year.
That's crazy.
We're 7 out of 12 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost a year.
And we had this conversation.
It'll be Christmas before we know it. Just think about how quick this is gone. Like
we just had Christmas in July, and that's because it's halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve, ask your question. Absolutely. We're not going to just end right now. We're having good conversation talking about what we're looking forward to, but I'm looking forward to continuing what we've done and then being able to reflect on the last year, really look at numbers and what y'all like. Again, comment, subscribe, shoot us messages on episodes when you listen, all of that. Let us know what's good and what isn't, because share it. We want to continue to getting a lot smoother with the podcast for sure. Yeah, Mike, I went back when I was on vacation last week, selfishly on vacation, and listened to like episode number 1. And man, I don't know why anybody even listened to the first one.
I can't do it because it's so cringe.
It was tough, but I think it's important. It was important for me to look and see how far.
Was that the NPFL one? Was that our
no?
Hell, I don't know.
The first one, I think we did we do the NPFL or the Elite season first? I can't remember, but either way, it was not. It was tough, and you get a little bit more used to talking. You get more used to seeing yourself. You get more used to hearing your voice. I actually hated my voice. Like I didn't.
Yeah. I hate your voice.
I know. I hate Trey's voice. Like every time he talks, I just want to put one of these right in his suckhole. No, but seriously, like it's been fun, and I'm glad, Mike, that you recognize that. And I've heard quite a few other folks that have listened say, that we've gotten a lot better, and I feel like you do. You get better at asking questions when you have guests on. That was probably the weirdest thing for me was interviewing people and did anybody listen to episode 1? I think we had like 7 downloads. So no, just kidding. We had more than that, but it's been fun, man. Like our growth is as an individual and as a team, and kind of figuring out each other's strengths and weaknesses. And
It was the good, the bad, the ugly. Fishing 20. It was a recap of 2022.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Clayton. Yeah, if you haven't listened to the actual podcast, so we do these lives on Fridays. We try to do every Friday, but not always. But if you're a podcast guy, check out our podcasts as well. They are on YouTube on the One Cast Fishing YouTube. Look for the One Cast playlist. Apple, Spotify.
Spotify's the deal, dude.
Apple's are taking over as number one. Spotify is number
it?
two. But all of those platforms, if you listen to podcasts, I did learn today that Stitcher is going away at the end of the month. So if you're a podcast fan and you listen on Stitcher to any podcast, they are shutting that service down, and that's the end of it. So Steve said, I decided to hop on a friend's boat for the PNC in Falls tomorrow. Pre-fish day, had 5 or 8, 9 pounds. What's a good plan? Launching out of Ledge Rock. I don't fish falls. Fish it a lot like Jordan, man. That's all I can say. Like I don't have a ton of experience on.
I don't
enjoy your steak, Terry. Everybody that I've talked to, it fishes a lot like Jordan. I don't know falls well enough to get.
Decided to hop on a friend's boat, fish PBC.
That's Steve Loper.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, they should be in brush piles and your traditional summer haunts out there.
So
I don't have as much experience out there either, because Jordan Harris is so much closer.
Dude, so Steve, listen, I don't know if you have time to do it, but your best bet is to go find brush piles. If it's sunny out, go find those brush piles.
Yep.
Like and listen, like or anywhere where there's some sort of current, right? Which is obviously in the river system, those steep rock walls and stuff.
I've had success in the summertime in the S turns. There's a lot of long kind of tapering points that they're underwater points, so the bank looks flat. But if you look on your map, you'll see what I'm talking about, the flat stretches out there, and then drops off kind of in the channel. A lot of times on the top of that, it's 8 or 9 foot with stumps, right? And a lot of times if you can catch a lot of good fish that way in the summertime. Problem is it's very dangerous there in the summertime.
Yes, it is.
Because
yes, it is.
right, those S turns and everyone and their mother ripping through there, and
ton of boat traffic.
Some of those spots you almost have to be like in the middle of the channel there, right?
Right.
To fish it effectively. So
I would say if he had 8 or 9 pounds a day and he had 5 fish, then he's on to a little bit of something, and just build on that. Like if he figured something out today and found some fish, I think you guys could build from there. So, but
yeah, Saturday, Pete, like Ben said, Saturday traffic is absolutely horrible. If you can current plays a role in that water, but in the river system compared to like what you would consider the main lake, if you can find where the current is ripping around like a bend or hitting a creek channel or something like that, with brush piles, well, then you're really good at that point.
Yep.
But yeah, man, it's really like if you don't have a lot of experience on the water or know or have spots, then find an area. That would be my best recommendation. And then don't be afraid, and I'm just going to throw this out there, don't be afraid to hit shade lines with top water, even in the middle of the day. Like, do not be afraid of that, because there's some times where in the Piedmont region where I've done really, really well in the middle of July and August and catching 4 to 5 pound class fish on top water in the middle of the day, only in shade lines. But I'm not going to say that's going to be the case.
If you look at the thermocline, a lot of times this year as dissolved oxygen gets lower and the thermocline starts to slide up, like what Trey's talking about. If you can find the thermocline and it's moved up to like that 10 foot range, a lot of times those bigger fish will move up shallow like that and will feed on those shade.
And it may have, because of the lack of rain we've had for so.
Right.
I mean, we've got some today, but.
Well, I know you said you couldn't find it on Harris the other day, last week.
I'll just tell you this. I caught him deep. Let's call it deep cranking, right? Deep cranking, 12 foot of water with a 15-foot deep diving crankbait. And I caught him over and over and over and over again. And I don't typically do that in 90-degree water.
Mike, this ain't Florida. We can't throw buzzbait.
Yeah.
We don't have no grass.
Mike will throw a buzzbait in 40-degree water. 100%.
I do.
Degree? I would.
Hey, Clayton, to hit your comment, man, you said you're not really a podcast guy. You're either working or fishing. If you got earbuds or you're on the way to work, depending on your drive, it's probably a good listen. That's what I do, man. obviously it's totally up to you. But
I listen to a lot of podcasts.
I listen to podcasts while I'm fishing. I'll throw a one Bluetooth earbud in when I'm fishing. I like to have like an open ear. I don't like to listen to music and stuff like that, but I want to hear what's going on around me. But yeah, man, go check our episodes out, dude. If you're interested, we got a lot of cool guests that we've had on, a lot of great conversations, stuff like that. Good topics.
I usually just listen to Trey whine when we're fishing. So.
Yeah, I mean, I do have, in fact, based on all the data analytics that have been posted, the best podcast voice out there. So
yeah, did you poll the listeners?
Yeah, I did. I dropped them into a Microsoft Excel document, did a formula, calculated over next 5 fiscal years, and by default I'm the best. So
well, that's we have that going. So, as always, we appreciate everybody jumping on. It's getting to be 20 after 8.
Yep.
I'm getting up at 3:30. Well, 3. I'm gonna leave.
Good for
3,
you.
so I'm getting up at like 2:15. I'm gonna go make the trek to the east, do a little pre-fishing for a tournament I have next weekend over there, and then I'm gonna sleep all day Sunday because I'm gonna be exhausted.
Hey guys, I want to give a just a quick story. Last Saturday, I lost a good buddy of mine to I'm gonna call it a self-inflicted wound, if you will. Like, man, let's call it out there, veteran suicide. So the guy that's sitting on our comments right now, Michael Johns, he runs a 501c3 nonprofit organization called FX3 Inc. And that's just one of many that are out there in the country. If you're struggling with anything like that, if you're dealing with depression, or if you're thinking that like things just can't get any better for you and stuff, don't think that way. Reach out to us. Reach out to FX3 Inc. Mike, post your number on there, post the suicide hotline, and post any other resources. Listen, it's not worth it. Your life matters. Go check FX3 Inc. out. Check Heroes Harvest out, heroesharvest.org. You can reach out to any of us at any time. We will be more than happy to have a conversation.
I just posted my number up. If anybody needs anything, man, just call. Like, if you just need somebody to talk to, don't matter what time, call and keep calling. I know Mike's the same way. Trey, we posted his number before. I'm gonna post it again. I'm not even giving an option. It's not worth it. Like you said, you're important. Reach out to anybody, any of us. Ben, you can call. Maybe he probably sleeps through it.
No, he answers.
But Ben eats a couple gummies and he's out. I'm just saying.
But I will say, and on that topic, with the veteran suicide awareness stuff. On the flip side, if you guys are looking for really cool like tournaments to fish that are well organized, well staffed, and have the utmost morals and ethics, go check out some of those different charity tournaments, man. Whether or not it's a St. Jude's tournament, veterans tournaments, first responder, it does not matter. Those are some of the coolest tournaments that I've ever fished before. And we referenced multiple times going down and fishing with Mike down in Florida, and that was a Help Our Heroes tournament.
We've been talking about Forest Glory Outdoors. You can check them out on Facebook. They have a big, what they call the Warrior Classic, where if you sign up as a boater, they'll assign you with a random vet, unless you have a direct family member, son, father, something like that, then you can pick your partner. But other than that, it's a draw. They team you up with a vet. You go out and fish a tournament. That's on Lake Murray in South Carolina in September. We're gonna get him on to talk about that on one of these lives Friday. And again, hit us up if you want to get out on the water. Like, absolutely, we can make room and get you out if you're local to North Carolina and in our area. We'll go out and do some fishing and talking. And actually, it was another real funny story. Real quick was. When we were at the Classic, a guy came up to the booth and was like, "What's up, buddy?" And I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And I recognized him. He was stationed here at Fort Liberty.
Stop it! Stop.
Fort
Bragg.
And
back in my day, we called it Fort Bragg.
I think it was Sandhills.
I think
it was Sandhills was doing like an open tournament. He posted on one of the Facebook pages like, "Hey, does anybody want to fish this? I'm a vet. I'm an active duty, blah, blah, blah." So I hit him up, and me and him went out and fished, and we kind of stayed in contact. And then I saw him at the Classic. He had gone back to Kentucky for work, and he was stationed back over there, and he brought his family to the Classic and saw him, and he remembered
That's
me.
right.
So
I remember seeing him.
it was really cool to kind of see somebody who had taken out, who was an active duty guy. So most of your fishermen aren't going to be afraid to take you out fishing.
That's right. Jim, thank you, man, for posting that National Suicide and Crisis Hotline 988. All you got to do is call, or I believe you can text that if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man. Appreciate you guys jumping on. Ben, you got anything?
No.
All right.
Be well, everybody. We appreciate
Yeah.
y'all. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. It does help us.
It's good to get back to it.
Yeah,
right.
good to be back on Fridays. We'll keep these rolling and continue to help us build a culture of anglers helping anglers, one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.